data about screen time versus GPA? Talk to me. Screen time versus GPA. Was it positive or negative correlation? Negative. Okay. What equation did you find? Anybody? What did you find?
Like the y equals, I don't know if mine's right, but
Go for it.
Y equals a over negative 3x plus 4. And then the 2 points I picked were 1 and 4 and 9 and 1.
1 and 4, 9 and 1. I like those are good points to pick. They're far away from each other. They're nice whole numbers. Does someone have a calculator real quick just to I like what your equation is. Will you go 8 divided by 3 for me, please? Somebody?
8 divided by 3.
Yes, please.
It's like 2.6667. It's 2. Yeah.
That? Okay. Okay. So I'll round it to 2 decimals. So that seems okay. All right. So let's see. Did anyone else get roughly this equation? Give or take? Did you get about that? Cool. All right. So let's see. Make scatter plot. We could do that. So basically, we probably showed something like that. I mean, I didn't get all fancy on you. Find 2 good points. Well, the 1, 4 and the 9, 1, I think are really good points. They're far enough away from each other. We're not having to deal with decimals. I like that. Substitute 5 hours in and find our GPA. So help me out. You have a calculator, I think. At least you have a phone, I believe. What is negative 2.67 times 5? Negative 2.67 times 5.
Negative 13.35.
And go, oh, wait. Screen time, let's see. Substitute 5 hours screen time. What'd you get? Negative 13 what?
0.35.
5 plus 4. Okay, something's off here. All right, let's double check this linear equation. So 1, 4, 9, 1, x1, y1, x2, y2. Because that's going to give us a weird GPA.
Y equals negative 3/8 plus 3.
Yo, negative 3/8? Oh, okay. I bet you're right. Let's see. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Yeah. Oh, this was upside down. 3/8. So what's 3/8? 3 divided by 8 on a calculator. What's 3/8? 0.375. Thank you. Okay. And then what is 0.375 times 5?
1.85.
1.85. And then what is 4 minus 1.85? 4 minus 1.85. 2.15. Okay, so well, it should be positive, so it's 4 minus that. So if I had 5 hours of screen time by our fictitious made-up study, we should have a GPA of 2.15. And then problem number 4, we're not worried about problem number 4. It has something to do with the residual, which is basically basically what that was. They said, so we had data as this, and then this is what our data showed, and what our line of best fit showed was 5,215. So basically what they wanted to do is they wanted to subtract our answer, subtract 2.15 minus 2.1 or 2.7. And so we should get a negative 0.55.
Yeah.
So this basically means, and we're not worried about the residuals too much, but it basically means that our line of best fit, we underachieved or underestimated or something like that, but that's not really vitally important. So, we just made this data up to have some nice data to go with the line of best fit. But I gotta say that I would imagine the amount of screen time that people are putting in these days, I would say, is very much lowering social skills. I saw a study that said from age 9 to 18 of a socioeconomic above poverty, okay, meaning you're living above poverty, the average 9 to 18-year-old is spending 5.5 hours a day looking at phone screen. Yeah. Average. So friends, there's 24 hours in a day. Agreed?
Yeah.
So friends, that means 18.5 hours a day are being spent not being looking at a screen on average.
But you're only awake for like 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's say you get 9 hours worth of sleep. Let's just say minus 9. That means that you're awake for 9.5 hours.
Not on your phone.
Yeah. Yikes. I think something has taken advantage of your generation, friends. And I don't think it's going to. I have heard parents say all kinds of things. Oh, I need to get my student this phone because they need to know how to use apps. What about critical thinking? Oh, well, the games they play on their phone help them critically think. These are parents telling me this. Yeah.
Aren't like a lot of like, not a lot, but there's a big majority of jobs now that are almost like a lot of just sitting down and doing stuff on the computer.
Doing stuff on the computer versus staring at Instagram or Snapchat, though.
Why not like that's
Oh yeah, no, that is. But this is talking about 19 to 18-year-olds. So I would imagine of some of those 19 to 18-year-olds are doing online school. So some of those kids might be staring at a screen for 7 hours of school time a day, plus looking at their phone. So yeah, I like that thought. That's a good thought. So let's think about that. That 5.5 hours of screen time could be computer, phone, and even television. So, what do we say? So, I would imagine this has happened a few times. You're watching the TV at home and you're chilling out. You're like, "Yay, I'm watching TV." But then you're also looking at your phone at the same time. So should that count for double time? I don't know. I mean, statistics, here's the scary thing about statistics, my friends. And I think you've started to recognize this because you guys are really becoming the generation of the internet. If I believe something that's true to me, do you think there's a website or app that would verify this for me?
Like, if you believe like a fact or like what?
Yeah, let's go with, and I'm going to offend people. I'm going to offend the people that believe the world is flat. Okay. So if I believe the world is flat, do you think I could find a website right now that would justify to me why it's flat?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, do any of you think the world's flat? Okay. Many years ago, my dad had a hot air balloon. Okay, I grew up with a hot air balloon. I had my pilot's license for a hot air balloon. From 1980 to 1989, we had a hot air balloon. Okay. There was one time, so a hot air balloon can fly at any elevation that you really want, as long as it's above power lines, is what you mainly want. But there was one time that we brought O2 masks on board because we had a Navy SEAL who was going to jump out of our hot air balloon. Okay, the United States Navy sponsored this. A bunch of the hot air balloons brought this out. We had a full-on breathing respirator on because we were going to go way up high. So in our basket, here's and then you got the balloon, right? You got me, my dad, and the Navy SEAL. So the FAA says anything above 10,000 feet, you need to have O2. We've all been up to our mountains, yes? You just got over Levelland Pass, you're at almost 12,000 feet. Well, the FAA says you need to have oxygen at 10,000 feet. So you're actually 2,000 feet above what the FAA says you need to have oxygen for. So they had us on oxygen because we knew if we went over 10,000 feet above sea level, FAA required oxygen. Okay? We got to 19,000 feet above sea level in Phoenix. Phoenix is roughly 1,000 feet above sea level. So we were 18,000 feet above the ground. Okay, now things at 18,000 feet are a little different when you're standing in a wicker basket. I'm talking about what your mom and dad have a blanket in the living room. That's what you're standing in. Our basket came up about this high. So you can kind of get your hip on it. Basically, I remember flying the hot air balloon doing this. This is forever down. My foot's here. I'm holding on to the burner doing this. Okay? Now just imagine being 19,000 feet above the ground, 19,000 above sea level, 18,000 above the ground. I will tell you this. You can start seeing the curvature of the earth. Now, other things we found at that elevation, it was cold. When we launched from the ground temp was about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. When we got up to 19,000 above sea level, so 18,000 above the actual ground, we dropped to 17 below zero. Okay? Why did it get so cold that high? There's not enough molecules in the air to heat up to a certain temperature. So we're up there going, whoa, it got cold. And, we have jackets and coats and stuff on. So then we see this. The Navy SEAL says, all right, guys, puts his goggles on, he already had a helmet on, has parachute, stands on the edge of the basket, and goes, see ya. My dad and I are standing inside the basket, and this guy's going, woo, accelerating towards the earth that we left a while ago at negative 9.8 meters per second squared. He's going fast. And we're like, whoa. He's dropping. Now, things that we didn't know. These are things that we didn't know at the time. We're going to lose roughly 220 pounds out of the basket we're standing in, like that. We are way up in the sky. I mean, people are having to use binoculars to see us. I mean, you can still see our balloon, but our balloon was very small in comparison to how big the balloon was on the ground. So we didn't know. 220 pounds leaves our basket that we're standing in, wicker basket. We didn't know if the balloon was going to jump. So, of course, we're like, well, maybe we should hold on to something. Now, there's one person who left the basket who had a parachute. There's my dad and I that don't have a parachute. But my point on this is it was a lot of fun. Fortunately, I'm here today to say, hey, we survived. And there was no ill effects. But of course, that guy going out of the balloon, I don't know what elevation above the ground he pulled his parachute, but he made it down safely. We continued to fly for a little while, and then we landed, and then we came and said, man, that was awesome. Let's do it again. Okay. Now, the very first time I got to be PIC, that's pilot in charge. Okay. Was we were doing something called a splash and dash. Now, splash and dash on a nice calm lake is pretty, because what you do is the balloon's basket touches the lake, and if it's a nice calm day, you get the reflection in the lake of the balloon. It's pretty fun. Usually you want to come down nice and gently, and you'll set onto the water, and you'll just kind of sail across the water. And then when you're ready to come off the water, you put heat into the balloon will launch. A little bit of water drips from the basket for the most part. No. We had a competition. This is called Becker Lake. It's down south of here in Springerville, Arizona. It's 4th of July. Springerville's got nice elevation, nice and cool weather. We're able to fly a hot air balloon. So we launched our balloon from the park. And there used to be, during 4th of July, we'd have about 30 hot air balloons that would go, and they'd all join us up here because we fly in Arizona during the summer. So the competition we were going to do, it was just silly competition. It meant nothing. We were going to launch from here, and first balloon to do a splash and dash in Becker Lake won the prize. What was the prize? I don't remember. It was like a dorky trophy that meant nothing. So we bring up, it's my dad, me, my dad, and the reporter for Springerville, Arizona. She's got this big, huge camera, video camera. And she's doing a story on all of us hot air balloonists that come up to Springerville, Arizona every 4th of July and fly. And we're going to have a real pretty thing where we're going to glide across this lake. Okay? Skim it. No. Okay, so I am 12 years old at the time. Okay, so this must have been 1982. So we're coming into Becker Lake at about 500 above the ground. And as we do a descent, it's something called a box wind, which means as we descend, we were heading at one direction. As we descend, we head 180 degrees backwards. So what's happening is we're trying to fly out to the lake, come down, and we're flying back. Now all these other balloons are starting to come up, and Dad wants to win. So Dad decides, okay, we're going to fly here, and we're going to pull the vent at the top to allow us to descend relatively rapidly. So we're descending, but the wind's blowing us back, so we're blowing back into the lake. And it's me, my dad, and the reporter. She's got her camera on, filming the whole thing. She has no idea something's coming bad. My dad misjudged how fast we were descending. A hot air balloon, you can't put the brakes on. You could throw both burners on, but it's going to take a moment or a few moments before the hot air balloon's buoyancy comes back. Okay? So it's basically we are descending at about 500 feet a minute, which is about the equivalent of jumping off a two-story, your second story of your house and hitting the ground. It's going to hurt. So I'm like, Dad. And he goes, oh, it's fine. He's like, oh, no. Dad flips both burners on, okay? But it's too late. Now, usually the basket is going to come down and kiss the lake like this, and you're going to coast across it. We hit the lake so hard that the basket that we're standing in completely submerges. We submerged all the way up past our burners, but Dad just put a whole lot of heat into the balloon. It's going to react. So the balloon now launches back out of the lake. We are soaking wet. The camera no longer works because it was just submerged. We come out and all the water is draining out of the basket, and I look and it's me and the reporter. Well, there was a third person in the basket originally. I look down, there's my dad wading in the lake. Hey, you doing okay up there? Dad, you okay? Yeah. All right, I'm going to outfly the lake. Okay. I go and hit the burner. Burners are soaked. I can't relight them. I have one of two choices. This balloon comes out of the lake and it's continuing to go up, but then it's going to start a gradual descent. It's going to cool off relatively rapidly, and we're going to hit the ground pretty hard. So, trying to light the burners, we have two electric strikers. They're soaking wet. Nothing. I grab the sparker, the one that you see in the chemistry lab. I'm trying to drag flint across a wet surface. No strike. I cannot get the burners lit. I'm 12 years old at the time. I know how to fly this thing. But if I can't get the burners lit, I can't fly. I'm subjected to, we have ripstop nylon, that's the balloon. That's going to cool off. We're going to descend. If we descend too quickly, it's going to hurt bad. So I had to make a choice. I looked at the lady. I said, can you swim? She goes, no, not really. Well, as I look down at Becker Lake, I can see shallow, all around here, deep. Okay? Because so basically I see the bottom of the lake versus not see the bottom of the lake. And we're kind of skimming around like this. We did our splash here. Now we've launched back out. We're still continuing this way now. Okay? I know I don't want to hit here because it's going to hurt. I know I could put it back into the lake and it's fine. So that's exactly what I did. We hit. I deflated the balloon just before hitting the lake. So I tell this reporter, now I'm 12 years old. All I need you to do is just stand. We're going to land in water that you can stand in. Okay, I can do that. This is a 12-year-old telling an adult this, okay? Dad's now swimming in the water. Yay! We hit. I deflated. So 77,000 cubic feet of balloon that's holding 77,000 cubic feet of air. All of that fabric is now going to come down right on top of us. That was a little uneasy because it was like we hit, boom, okay, this water's freezing cold again. We're already freezing cold. We were just in this water and we're wet. Now we're back in the water. Here comes all the balloon down on top of us. That was a really uneasy feeling because ripstop nylon, I don't know if you have it on, it's relatively thin. It's basically like the outside layer of your ski jacket. Okay, that's all it is. It's relatively light when you're holding a little piece of it. When you have something that's encompassing 77,000 cubic feet of air and it's now wet, it's heavy. So I'm like down on top of us, so I'm like trying to stand up. I got all this fabric on top of me, and I asked the lady, are you okay? I'm okay right now. I'm 12 years old. Dad's out there, doing you know, some sort of swimming stroke that's made up because he doesn't know how to swim really. I got a lady who can't swim, who I'm trying to justify as a 12-year-old kid. All you have to do is stand up. And now all this fabric's on top of us. Fortunately, we all got out fine, but oh my gosh. That was the very first time I was a pilot in charge for a mere 3 minutes. I got to fly a hot air balloon that no longer had burners working. So, but the justification of this story was the Earth is not flat, but I can find a website that's going to justify to me that it is. I can also find websites that will justify it. I mean, it's not. What do you, my friends, believe? You just saw a slight introduction of stats with plotting data, plotting lines of best fit, and it's kind of there. What would you follow? Have any of you ever flown in a hot air balloon by chance? Yeah? Could you imagine a 12-year-old saying, hey, don't panic, we're going to land back in the lake, and I know you can't swim. Just stand up. So, here, you're right back.
I just walked in and he was talking about hot air balloon. That was a 20-minute
Wow, that might not look good.
So on this science folder, this hot air balloon right here is actually my dad's.
Wait, what?
That hot air balloon is actually my dad's. If you didn't have Jeff Woodhouse's hot air balloon on the way, you'd see a little Chris Stirrup standing right around here. That's Jim Kern's balloon, Judy Holt's balloon. Oh, that's Judy Holt's balloon.
Did you make this book?
No, it was actually a science book with all these activities, but it had the hot air balloons going. That's my dad. And you can see here, see how the lake right here,
Yeah.
how it reflects?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're trying to do. So that was at a place called Fountain Hills, Arizona. Kind of cool.
You know those people's balloons?
Yeah. I mean, this one right here is my dad's. This picture had to be 1984, 85, 86. That's my dad's balloon right there. If you open it up. So that's Judy Holt's balloon. She was a 4th grade teacher. That's Jeff Woodhouse's. That's my dad's right there. That's Jim Kern's. This is Pegasus, so that must have been Surreptizzi. That was our hot air balloon. N903CD was the basically the license plate number on it. But yeah. So Jim Kern's and ours was the same. They were both Camerons. This is a Barnes. This is a Raven, Barnes, different names. So yeah, I came across this science book going, that's my dad's hot air balloon.
Does it have like photo credits on it inside?
Let's see. So this came out in 1989. That was the copyright on this. And let's see. Grateful Nine publisher's permission to. I didn't have to hard to say yes after you crumble his up. Buddy.